In this video, I'm going to show you how to take one little book idea and turn it into a full-blown self-publishing brand. Seriously, if you have been publishing one-off books and wondering how to level up, this is for you. We're talking about building something bigger, more profitable, and built to last. Hi, welcome to Self-Publishing Central. My name is Caroline, and every single week I share real strategies, case studies, and behind-the-scenes tips to help you build a thriving self-publishing business. Let me ask you something. What if you didn't just publish another low-content book this week? What if you built the foundation for a real brand, one that could grow with you, scale over time, and generate consistent monthly income? I'm not talking about uploading random journals or trying to guess what might sell. I'm talking about something more strategic, something built on solving real problems for people who are already searching for these types of books. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how I would build a full educational workbook brand from scratch. Not just a few books, not just a side hustle, a complete product line that starts with one powerful idea like educational workbooks and expands into a full brand of educational resources for kids. And I'll show you why educational workbooks are one of the smartest self-publishing moves you can make right now, how to use one tool to get started fast, even if you have never made a book for the educational workbook niche before, and how to turn one book into a growing collection of workbooks across subjects, grade levels, and formats so that your brand grows with every new book that you publish. This is the second video in a short series that I'm doing all about educational publishing and more specifically word ladder workbooks. If you missed the first one, definitely go back and watch it. In that video, I broke down a really powerful niche that barely anyone is talking about and a brand new tool that makes it incredibly easy to create these books. But even if you didn't catch that first video, this one stands out on its own because today we're zooming out to look at the bigger picture. Let's get straight into it and let's talk about why educational workbooks are one of the best kept secrets in self-publishing. Most people entering the low content book space go straight for journals, notebooks, and coloring books. And those can definitely work. There is no denying it. You can make a lot of money with those types of books, but over time, those niches have become competitive and just a bit crowded with thousands and thousands of pretty much identical books. Educational workbooks, on the other hand, offer something different, something smarter. They're not trendy, they're not seasonal, and they're not really based on aesthetic or novelty. They're based on need. People don't just buy educational workbooks for the sake of it. They rely on them. They need them. Let's have a look at the types of people who buy these books. First of all, teachers looking for supplemental materials that they can photocopy or assign as homework or use within the classroom. And there's homeschooling parents who want structured skill building activities for their kids. There's tutors helping students who are behind in reading, spelling, or maths. You've got parents looking for screen-free activities that are actually educational. And you've also got schools and learning centers who purchase books like this in big batches. This isn't casual buying. This is purpose-driven purchasing. When someone purchases a handwriting workbook for their 6-year-old or a vocabulary builder for ESL students, they're not just browsing for fun. They're solving a real problem. This is a necessity. And that makes these customers much more likely to leave reviews, recommend your book, and come back for more and pay attention to your other books. Educational workbooks have a higher perceived value because those books are useful. They're seen as worth more. Parents will happily spend $9.99 or even $12.99 for a workbook that helps their child improve their reading or spelling, especially if it means less screen time or better school performance. What we did see in my last video when we looked at the best-selling word ladder workbooks, they were all priced at around $20 per book. Compare that to a basic lined notebook or a generic gratitude journal. Those often have to be priced lower or maybe even just average, in line with everybody else's book in order to compete, and there's very little room to differentiate. With educational books, you're offering real value and something that is highly valued, which is education, and so you can charge accordingly. They create repeat buyers, and I think this is one of the biggest hidden benefits of educational publishing. People don't just buy one workbook. If a parent buys your handwriting book for their first grader and it works well, they will come back next year looking for the second grade version. If a teacher likes your fall or autumn themed phonics puzzles, they'll come back and search for your winter and spring editions. And that is how you build a brand. You don't need 100 random books. What you need is, say, 5 to 10 well-targeted, well-branded educational resources that each serve a clear purpose and grow in relevance as your audience returns. For a long time, creating educational workbooks was intimidating. You had to design the worksheets, you had to build the puzzles or the activities from scratch, you had to format everything to look clean and usable and make sure it all aligned with age-appropriate skills. But now, tools like the Word Ladder Worksheets generator remove almost all of that friction. You choose your words and the tool builds the puzzle pages and the layout ready for KDP or digital download. That means you do not have to be a teacher, you don't need to be a designer, and you definitely don't need to be tech savvy. You just need a good idea and a tool that helps you bring it to life. And there are lots of different types of educational workbooks that you can now create using these kinds of tools, from maths to telling time to reading clocks to learning to write. So let's say that you have just published your first Word Ladder workbook, and maybe it's for first graders, maybe it's Halloween themed, maybe it's a general skill builder for spelling and phonics. It's up on Amazon, it's formatted professionally using the Word Ladder Worksheets generator, and you're starting to get your first sales trickle in. Here's what most people do next. They move on to a different niche and a different type of book, a totally unrelated book. But if I were building a real educational self-publishing brand, an actual long-term business, I would do something different. I'd take that first workbook and use it as the foundation for an entire product line. Here's how I'd structure it. Step 1, start with one book type. Say, for example, the word ladders. You've already picked a niche with practically no competition, clear educational value, and real demand. That's your entry point. Let's think of it as your flagship product. You build one high quality book, you use smart, highly targeted keywords, great formatting, clean design. You publish it with a clear target customer in mind. So, for example, word ladders for grade 2, 30 fun puzzles to build vocabulary and spelling skills. And this becomes the starting point for your brand. Step 2, expand that one book type into a series. Once you've published your first book, do not reinvent the wheel. Use the same layout, the same structure, and same concept to create, for example, a grade 1 version, a grade 3 version, a back to school edition, a winter holidays edition, a spring vocabulary boost edition, a challenging puzzles for gifted readers edition. The list could go on and on. And this is where the Word Ladders Worksheets generator is invaluable, because once you know your structure works, you can scale and build it out really fast. So now, instead of just one book, you have a recognizable series. Each book reinforces the others. Each one makes your pen name more visible. And now you're on your way to becoming a brand, not just a self-publisher. Step 3, add complementary book types. And this is where it gets exciting. You've built your Word Ladder series. They're all published, they're starting to sell. Now you introduce other educational workbooks and target the same customers. Let me give you a few examples. Handwriting workbooks. These are always in demand for pre-K through to grade 2. You can easily create letter tracing for beginners, sentence copying for first and second graders, cursive handwriting for older kids, seasonal handwriting practice, for example, spring sentences to trace. Each one can follow the same format, which is clear traceable letters, guided lines, and themed vocabulary. You now have a second product line that appeals to the same customers as your Word Ladder workbooks. Another example you could then add on is sight word practice books. Sight words are a huge topic for early literacy, and teachers are constantly looking for ways to help their kids master them. You could create and publish 100 high frequency sight word practice pages, sight word sentences for grade 1, cut and paste sight word activities, seasonal sight word workbooks such as Thanksgiving words to know. Use repetition and structure. Create one layout, then duplicate it across different levels and themes. Another example you can then add on is math workbooks. Maths is another evergreen educational category, and again, structure matters. Start with addition and subtraction drills, number tracing and writing for pre-K, time and money practice, word problems for older grades, multiplication fluency for grade 3 and over. Once you find a format that works, for example, 20 practice problems per page with the answer keys at the back of the book, you can go on and scale it just like you did with the Word Ladders workbooks. And here are some bonus ideas. You can expand into spelling and vocabulary worksheets, reading comprehension passages, logic puzzles and brain games, early writing prompts. Each one adds depth to your brand and creates more opportunities for cross-selling. Step 4, organize your brand by subject and grade level. Now that you have multiple book types, organize your books so that it's easy for customers to find what they need. So think of it as a virtual bookshelf. Put those related books together into series. This structure will help build clarity. It helps those customers see that you're not just publishing random books, you're offering a full educational experience, and that creates trust, and trust creates repeat purchases. So here's another quick example. Let's say a parent finds your Word Ladders workbook for grade 1 on Amazon. Their child loves it. They leave a review. Then a week later, that parent searches your pen name or brand name and finds that you have a handwriting workbook for the same grade, a sight words workbook, and a math practice workbook. Now you've made 4 sales instead of 1. And I say this all the time in a lot of my videos. It is so much easier to sell to somebody who has already purchased from you and loved it than it is to try to sell something new to somebody new who every single time who has never heard of you or your brand or your books before. And that is the power of building a full brand instead of just publishing one book at a time that have nothing to do with each other. Okay, but let's talk about expanding even further. Now that we've mapped out how to build a full educational self-publishing brand on Amazon, let's talk about how you can take everything you've created and extend it beyond just books. Because if you've already gone to the effort of researching your audience, designing skill building worksheets, structuring grade specific content, then you've done most of the work that's required to create some additional income streams. Here's how to leverage what you've already made. And this is the definition of working smarter, not harder. You could create printable packs for Etsy and Teachers Pay Teachers. Platforms like Etsy and Teachers Pay Teachers are made for educational content. Parents and teachers go there specifically to look for reproducible worksheets, themed activity packs done for you, classroom resources, and homeschooling printables. So why not take your existing word ladder puzzles, math pages, or handwriting worksheets and turn them into printable PDFs? These don't require physical printing or KDP at all. It's just a digital file and a product listing, and that's how you sell it. And here's an extra tip. The same puzzle pages that you create with the Word Ladder Worksheets generator can be used for both print books and digital printable products. You could build value-packed bundles. As your brand grows, you'll end up with a wide catalog of books, and that's when bundling becomes powerful. Amazon doesn't let you bundle books that are printed through KDP in the physical sense, but you can still group titles under the same series. You can cross-promote books within your descriptions, or you could even release omnibus versions, which is where you could create a completely separate book which contains multiple books that you already have within the one book. For example, you could create an omnibus called the Complete Grade 1 Bundle or the Complete Grade 1 Workbook, including reading, writing, and math, all within the one book. And off of Amazon or away from Amazon, you can offer actual bundles like a digital mega pack of all your grade 1 materials. So this allows you to raise your prices and increase the perceived value. Once you have about 10 to 15 products, you might consider hosting your own Shopify store. A great reason to do this is that it gives you full control. It gives you full control over your pricing, your product format, your customer emails, and the fact that you can actually contact your customer. It gives you control over upsells and cross-sells and things like seasonal promotions that you might want to run. You could do ads to a landing page or build an email list by offering a free sample pack or some kind of digital download. And again, you're not starting from scratch with any of this. The content already exists. You're just packaging it differently. You'll want to grow an email list for repeat customers, and as your brand grows, one of your most valuable assets will be your email list. There are several ways that you can build it, like offering a free sample workbook or some free sample pages in exchange for their email address, including a lead magnet in the front of your books and then promoting it on your Etsy or your Teachers Pay Teachers listings. Even on the books that you list on Amazon can have a page at the front or back letting people know about your email list. And then once someone does sign up, you then have their email address so that you can let them know when new books are launching. You can share tips around teaching or around education using your products, or you can recommend complimentary resources that either you have available or that other people have available that you have an affiliate link for. And that becomes even another additional stream of income through affiliate income. And this is how you go from being a faceless self-publisher to becoming a trusted name in the educational space. But here's the main point that I'm trying to make. Once you've created a single educational workbook for any subject, you've done most of the work needed to create additional workbooks or related complementary products and content that can be sold over and over again. This is how serious self-publishers build sustainable, full-time income with intentional product lines that solve real problems. And when you combine smart product design with tools like the word ladder worksheets generator to speed up your workflow, you'll have something powerful. If there's one thing that I hope that you do take away from this video, it's that you don't need a huge amount of books. You don't need to be an expert teacher, and you don't need to do everything all at once. You can build a self-publishing brand that grows over time, a business that serves a real audience, and a brand of educational resources that you're genuinely proud of. Most people in self-publishing are chasing the next idea, the next trend, the next shortcut, the next viral book, but the ones who succeed the most in the long term go deep into a niche, not wide, and they show up with helpful, well-designed books that solves problems. That's what educational workbooks allow you to do, especially when you have the right tools to get started. And so on that note, just a reminder that the Word Ladders Worksheets Generator is still on launch pricing, and during the launch window from July 7 to July 10, 2025, you can get it at a significantly reduced price with lifetime access. So if you've been thinking about it, don't wait. Link is in the description. And yes, it is affiliate linked because I use it, I recommend it, and I genuinely believe it can make a difference for you and your self-publishing business. This isn't about rushing to publish 50 or 100 books. It's about building something smart, something real that grows over time and is sustainable. Start with one book in one niche, make it helpful, make it clean, make it useful, and then grow from there. I hope this video gave you a clear roadmap for what that could look like and how simple tools and smart planning can help you go from random uploads to intentional publishing. If you did like this video, YouTube thinks that you might like these ones too. So please go check them out to learn more about self-publishing your own books on Amazon KDP. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.